question 8 from the SAT number 9. This is April 2017 QAS test. And 8 says Sandeep would be most critical of which action from the passage. So we got to basically kind of figure out two things. One is, what is Sandeep critical of in general? And then basically, if we kind of glance at the answer choices, we notice that these are all events that happen during the course of the passage. And basically, what would he be most critical of, given what we know about how he feels and what he might be critical of in general? So this kind of a little bit complex, but we should kind of know, based on question 7 and maybe our reading of the text, that here's where we get Sandeep's opinion of everything that's kind of happened, right? And this is where he's sort of talking about maybe about things that he finds he would be critical of, or ways he feels about the adults. The last question kind of talked about the fact he thinks the grown-ups are mad. He thinks that they turn simple situations into complex, dramatic ones, and that he thinks they'll never grow up. So this is basically where he talks about his criticisms in general. And I think the most obvious one out of kind of these points of criticism of the adults is this, where he says simple situations are turned into complex, dramatic ones. Not until then did everyone feel important and happy. So we know that we're trying to identify some sort of situation that happened in the passage. And this is telling us what kind of situations he would be critical of. Anyone that is simple, yet turned into something that's complex and dramatic. So we got to find a text that will talk about that. So we go back to the passage, or to be honest, we can even kind of just go through the answer choices here and see if we remember any of these as being a simple situation that people kind of overhyped. So A says the two boys playing carrom. I think that's how you say it. And that's kind of at the beginning of the passage here. And I don't think there's any evidence that, one, Sandeep was critical of them, and two, that he thinks that like a simple situation that they're making more complex. All it is basically just says that they're playing this game, they're playing carrom, and basically they pull up and they ask them questions. But there's nothing in there about them making it a complex situation, whatever. They're also not adults, they're kids, and everything we know about what Sandeep finds critical is about the adults, so let's get rid of A. B says Mamima's inquiry about the gender of the child, which is also sort of right in the beginning of the passage. And this is where she basically just asks, is it a girl or a boy, rolling down the window. I don't think that we could say that this is her over-dramatizing or making a bigger deal of things. It's pretty neutral. She just asks, is it a girl or boy? They say it's a girl. She rolls up her windows before the mosquitoes come in, and they go on their business. I don't think this is a good choice. Nothing about this seems to be something Sandeep would be critical of. Then we have C, which says the old lady's reaction to the gift. And that is this scene here, where the old lady is reacting to the gift. And basically the gift is yogurt and sweetmeats, but they're acting like it's the Kohinoor diamond. And even in this passage, Sandeep seems to be a little bit critical of things. He says it was nothing, of course, only the sweets and yogurts, but they fussed and created the illusion that it was something unique and untasted and unencountered. So this tells us that Sandeep sort of feels about this scene that they're treating these yogurt and sweetmeats like it's this valuable jewel, this valuable diamond, when in fact it really is nothing. So I think this is fair to say they're turning a simple situation, just giving yogurt, giving a little gift, into complex and dramatic ones. So I think he would be critical of that for sure. So I think we could keep C. And then D says the son and daughter-in-law waiting in the anteroom. So this is almost correct, because I think maybe Sandeep would be critical of this whole exchange here, where basically the son is trying to touch Chhotomama's feet and Chhotomama is saying no. Maybe that's a little bit making a bigger deal of things than needs to be. However, the answer choice is only talking about them waiting in the anteroom before they come out. And there's nothing about that would seem to suggest that they're making a simple situation into something that's more complex or more dramatic. All they're doing is they're just waiting in the anteroom for Chhotomama and Sandeep's aunt, and basically for everyone to arrive. So I don't think there's anything in this that makes sense. I don't think that he would be critical of this at all. So we can get rid of D, and that's going to leave us with answer choice C, which is our correct answer for question number 8.